Hi, good day, everyone. This is Dr. Lau. Today, in my keynote, we're going to talk about how to steal your jobs back from AI. So, as AI continues to reshape the workforce, it's crucial to understand how we as a human can regain our competitive edge. And as we all know, right, in any technology's curve, they have this thing called the critical point, and we know that as soon as we cross the critical point, and there's a point of no return. So we're going to explore some of the strategies and skills that we can outsmart AI. A few months ago, or maybe a year ago, before ChatGPT came out, right? If I show this picture, or in fact, I did show this picture to a lot of people, and they were just like, give me a smirk, like a grin, saying that, oh, yeah, we know that, AI is going to take over our jobs. But people are still kind of chill and relaxed. They think that it's not going to be so soon. But as soon as ChatGPT came out and AI starts to boom everywhere. Like you start to see generative pictures, generative audios, and nowadays, if you look at tools that can change your face and then generate what we call digital twins. Basically, we can record a video of yourself talking with your own voice without doing anything. Right? You don't even have to enter the studio. And by the way, you are seeing a real me. Okay, this is not a digital twin yet. And when we talk about the sort of jobs that AI have stolen from us so far, right? It actually can be categorized as three main categories. And mind you that that's what I use the word so far. The first one is automation. I think is a little bit unfair if we were to blame AI solely for any sort of automation, because any sort of boring repetitive work, it has been replaced by let's say technologies or machineries. We all know that, those like production lines, or in the factory manufacturing, whatever. But rather than that, with AI, we does make things looks a little bit smarter. For example, we use computer vision and deep learning to detect the defects, right? Let's say we have a phone, and then when we want to check and make sure that the phone has three cameras installed, we, instead of using some optical methods, or in the past we used to need to hire a lot of people to look at the product and do QC itself. Nowadays, the smarter way to do that is to install a high definition cameras to take a photo of the product, and then we run some image processing to check and make sure that the product have no scratches and with all the components installed. This is how AI have made the automation, or have enabled the automation to go to the next level. And then the next one is creativity. And with creativity, we know that the value of art pieces, musics, writings, advertisements, articles, they're rather hard to be quantified. But bear in mind that before we have impressive tools like, say, for example, Stable Diffusion, Mid Journey, or Dolly, we do have a lot of services. Let's say, for example, Pexels, and then Unsplash, FreePic, Envato Elements, and the list goes on. And we have professional stock photography website as well, like Shutterstock or 123RF. So in terms of creativity, AI wasn't the first one to drive the cost down, right? And those services that I talk about, that I mentioned, either they sell you in a monthly subscription bulk service, like you can just get it for $20 per month, or you pay like 150 for a year, and then you get unlimited downloads of stock photos, icon, and vector graphics. And but what AI has done is they make these tasks even easier, and we drive down the cost further. And usually when we talk about the cost in AI, we don't just mean the monetary cost. We are actually referring to others, like your effort and the time that you need to spend. Don't get me wrong, right? These photos were taken by professional photographers, and they offer high quality stock photography. But it's very hard for you to customize according to your own use cases. For example, if am promoting something about safety, then I just type a girl with karate or martial arts skills in the middle of the night, and then straight away I get a photo like this. And then it says that this is a photo of a young girl with short dark hair wearing a white martial arts uniform, practicing her moves in the center of an empty road. So is something that is beyond our imaginations, like or rather that something that you won't stumble upon or you won't come across very often. And the text description is automatically generated by GPT. Yeah, and then it says straight light casts a dim yellow glow, making the wet road reflects the light. It's very simple. And sometimes if I want to change it to another style, let's say I look at this picture, it's good, but it doesn't suit my style. Probably I want something that's more cartoonish, that's more vectorish, and then I can just tell it, and then it will give me like illustration of a determined girls with diverse, decent, and then wearing traditional martial outfit, blah blah blah. Right. So this is how powerful the state of the art at the time I'm speaking at this event. And this is what we consider the harder level, something that is more difficult to achieve, because it's drawing and art is something sometimes it involves some abstract concepts. If we want to do something that is more I would say more direct, right? We long time ago we do have ChatGPT and we have generative AI like this already. Writing articles nowadays is common task. And if I were to clarify something, right, the reason that these services become more valuable than the past, because it has driven down the cost to produce something that we have low frequency or low business value. Okay, for example, if you want to design a poster, you can go to any of the AI services and it will generate posters in minutes or if not seconds. But traditionally, if we want to have a nice professional business quality posters, we need to go and look for the designers, and then we need to speak to the designers, and the time taken and the effort to communicate and to make changes is very hard. So it's a painful process for both the designer and also the customers, the owner itself. But it has become very easy nowadays. So it's is because the cost of the product or the value of the end results is relatively lower, and that's why this product become very useful. And lastly is on the emotion side, right? Remember the things that is automation, creativity, and the emotion. Many people think that the power of AI in commerce, in business world, or in e-commerce is about chatbots and customer services, but it's actually not the case, because the actual improvement comes from the underlying engines, the machines of the recommendations, and it enable our customers to be able to do shopping 24/7 with a professional shopping assistant always show you around with related products, with a clear pricing, clear features, clear introduction in front of the customers. So this will help the customers to explore and discover products, hence increase the sales, right? You encourage them to buy more products and increase the amount of order. So look at the example that I've shown you here. This is the product that Amazon recommended based on your shopping preferences, based on your shopping history, and so on. So it's not that the customer services are not important, or nor I'm saying that you don't need a chatbot. Those are for, I would say, mission critical or critical missions. Those mission critical type of tasks that we need somebody to attend to the customers. But oftentimes, I would say 80-20 rules, right? 80% of the time is that we want them to shop in an environment that they feel relaxed and keep them or retain them at our e-commerce site as long as they can. So that is the value of recommendation engine using artificial intelligence. Okay? So now that you know what sort of things that AI have taken from us and the rationale behind, a lot of people when they give a talk like this, they basically just fear mongering, right? They basically just tell you that, oh, you should be aware, AI is going to steal your jobs because you are going to be tired, and then you are going to be affected by your emotions when you do shopping, for example. But that is not just what I want to tell you. Okay, I'm telling you the reason behind. And back to our topic today is that now you AI this, AI that, AI every day, everywhere, right? And the examples that I've shown you is just a small part that I have consolidated or aggregated using my own experience and knowledge, okay, without relying on AI too much. But how can we continue to utilize our advantage or even gain a competitive edge as AI continues to disrupt our work in many other aspects? Number one, I would say that is the ability to assess the risk. Now, risk assessment is a complex issue. They are calculated risks, and they are risks that have to be assessed by human. Calculated risk is easy, right? You basically just go by probability. If you invest in a stock market, how much does the stock will grow, how much does the price will drop, and that's what robo traders are doing basically. But when we use AI assessment, right, or when we use human assessment, so our strength over AI is that we have reasoning skills. Okay, there's no way that AI can do reasoning, especially with generative AI. So we are able to use our experience and reasoning skills to make judgments on the severity, likelihood, and the impacts of risk. I think this is, especially on the impact, there's something that AI can't do well. And the second thing is holistic thinking. Now we know that the AI that we see now is a narrow AI, okay, and is mostly on a very specific niche, and there's no way that we can achieve like general AI in short amount of time. And in fact, from the research point of view, we have not seen any possibility yet, right? But as a human, we can take a risk in a larger context. So let's say you are looking at driving, right? Driving, if you ask a driverless car, let's say a Tesla, Alpha autonomous driving, to assess the risk, it can only assess the risk from the surrounding and everything that the sensors have told him. But if you have other sort of unexpected situations, unexpected road conditions, unexpected weather conditions, and something that is has a broader scale, right? Then this is what AI is unable to do. And of course, if we want to do it in the way that the business do, right, you are making a business decisions, then the relations to a broader goals and broader strategies and priorities are often needs to be taken into consideration, but AI did not do it. And the next one is intuition. This one is very famous, right? Human lives on intuitions. And in fact, when we talk to a lot of bosses, we told them that, you should use data, you should use AI, because you shouldn't rely on your intuition, you shouldn't rely on your guts. But so this is a very, very human thing when we use the words. But when we use AI systems, right? I think what human wins over AI is that we have a very good subconscious processing that oftentimes it cannot be explained by science just yet. So we have very good pattern recognitions and judgment calls based on experience, and uh, emotion sometimes comes into play. But I would say that there's more on the biochemical side. There's more on the biology triggers, psychological triggers, and human intuition is largely shaped by our life experiences and knowledge. And at the point of I'm saying this, right, this is referring to those life experiences and knowledge that is very hard to be quantified. For example, you have a customers, right, as that's very angry and coming to your shop. You If you ask the AI to handle this, AI will be trying to address their questions. But if you ask a human to handle this, human will try to address their emotions. So addressing questions versus addressing emotions. And I think humans do a lot better on addressing emotions, and they can, based on their intuitions and the situational judgment, to do a lot better. And we develop a lot of intuitive skills over many generations since our ancestor, and we do this for only one reason: to survive, right? So if we want to transfer this knowledge to AI, and it needs to accumulate experiences and knowledge, it will take a long time to collect the data, because this sort of data is something that we have not been collected in the past, maybe decades, or if not 100 years. So of course you might want to argue that but human makes, they might misjudge the situation, and then they have biases as well. This is something that I totally agree, but my point here is that is not as straightforward as we want to transfer these experiences, to quantify them and pass it on to the machines to build the model. Once we have cracked that, like what we have done with GPT, and this problem is solved, right? And the third one is complex problem solving. So it goes back to what my definition on the generative AI and uh, the narrow AI, right? So the super AI versus the narrow AI is that AI can handle parts of the jobs. They can do something very specific, very niche, very well, but it cannot do the entire job. So, for example, AI can help you to write proposal. It can help me to create quotations. It can help me to answer business customers' inquiries. But to build the business, to know who to hire, to know what are the people we need to hire in our organizations, the org chart, the structures, etc., and then extracting insights, design products that can address the customer's issue. All this require humans. So we still need humans to connect the dots together. And AI can help with the decision making, and it can facilitate our brainstorming sessions. This one is not non-questionable, right? But the critical thinking part and to put the puzzles together, and that part still require humans. And if I were to put it into an extreme example, I can say that AI can compose a song and AI can write the lyrics, but it still requires humans' effort to do the mixing, to put things together, and to show it to different people, and to try to get the emotions and the sentiments correctly. So where do we do from here? So we have discussed, compare and contrast the differences between what type of jobs AI have stolen from us, and then what are the solutions, or what are our strength in order to steal it back from the AI. And you would see that my presentation or my keynote today, I still focus a lot on things like emotions, and then I still focus more on the broad holistic way of thinking, because it goes back to my point, is that it's still hard to collect data for these sort of situations. Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would take a long while, because right now, if I were to ask you to document your genuine feelings and genuine emotions, number one, it's not something that we document it all the time, and number two is it's very hard to quantify. And what should we do next? I think the skills that everybody needs to have in order to survive in the AI era, whether you are working for somebody, you are running a business, or even if you are an investor, doesn't matter which industry you are, you need to have very good imaginations, and you need to have strong prompting skills. That means you really need to be able to identify the core problems and ask the right questions. Because for the past 40, 50 years, our education system has trained us into a machine that is very good at answering questions. But when it comes to telling us to uphold your jobs and to ask question, this is something that is hard. And that's why I always discuss this with my peers and other AI engineers is this the right time? Like, does do we have better life? Does our life get better, or we are required to learn more and learn something that is more in depth? Because if you don't understand the thing, right, it's very hard for us to ask questions. So the first steps to adapting and upskilling for the future jobs, I think, is evaluate your skills. So every industry is different. Some industry they require more soft skills. I actually don't like the word soft skills, but I will call it business skills or communication skills. And you really have to understand which industry is growing, which one is dying. So, uh, for example, media, right? Traditional media is going downhill. I wouldn't say it's dying, but it's going downhill. And then the new media is going up. So, if you have the skills to take photos, to shoot videos, you should not be looking at the traditional ways of doing things, but rather you should be looking at new content, short form videos, etc., and try to understand the data behind these sort of services. And in the past, we used to do some sampling, some survey to understand what shows gets the most viewership. But today, all this data is available. So if you upload a video onto YouTube, not only you need to know how to shoot a good video, but you really need to know what sort of videos will get people attention, will retain your viewerships, and how do you translate them into subsequent videos so that you can keep coming up with viral videos all the time, right? This is an important skill. And we can go into other industry. Let's say you are in insurance industry, right? So insurance industry, in the past, we have been building models to try to calculate the risk. But today, because we have access to the driver's data, to the healthcare, to the lifestyle data, the insurance model nowadays should be more towards rewarding the people because of their good behaviors, because of their good driving patterns, because they put on seatbelt all the time, because they drive, they follow the speed limit all the time, rather than trying to distribute the risk among all the people who buy the insurance, which is a traditional model. So I think you get what I mean, right? So you need to be able to evaluate your skills in the particular industry, and how can your skills play a sustainable role in this growing industry. Now, number two is continuous learning. And I think this skill has always been important. I mean, there's no time that somebody will stand up and say, "Oh, I don't have to learn. This is I have enough." But in today's world, our average lifespan is getting longer. That means, let's say if average lifespan is 65 years old in the past, then whatever you learn in the universities after you have graduated, it can last you for maybe 20 years, 30 years before you officially retire, or you don't really have to work for money. But today, things are moving so fast. Even we in the IT industry, we are in the data AI industry, we are still doing our best to cope and to catch up with the development speed of AI. And um, I think one of the key things to push us to motivate us to continue learning is the curiosity. Yeah, with that level of curiosity and always wondering what this can be done, what things can be do better, and that is a more effective way, rather than just looking at, oh no, new thing come out, I have to learn again and again. Yeah. And I personally believe that hybrid skill sets will be very valuable over the specialized one in the future. And number three is bridging the gap. So again, this is something that everybody has known, but I think some people, they try to focus too much on worrying. Yeah, they worry about, oh, AI is going to take away my jobs. I'm going to replace very soon. But I think what we should really do is to stand at both sides. Okay, looking at the technology side and looking at the human side, and see what are the gaps that's available in different industry, different companies, and how can we bridge them together. Okay. Now, before I end my keynote, I would like to share a very famous quote on artificial intelligence by Professor Andrew Ng. He's a prominent figure for modern AI. He said that AI is the new electricity, and I personally believe that it is going to disrupt. I don't really like the word disrupt as well, because it makes people. I don't. I'm not a fear mongering person. It feels like people are worrying too much about, oh, how is this going to change my industry, how will I lose my job. Not so much of that, but we should be looking at it in a very positive mindset. We look at how we can uh, revamp the entire industry. Let's say oil and gas, let's say commerce, let's say hospitality industry, travel, logistics, accommodations, everything, right? And looking at the ways that how electricity has changed the world 40, 50 years ago. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And that's my keynote for this event. And this is Dr. Lau here. You can always connect with me if you have further questions, and send me an email at drlau@thelate.io. Thank you very much.